How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new SkillCapped video. Today, we have a handful of new OP off-meta champions and builds that can give you a massive edge up on your opponents. Whenever a champion or new setup is in a really strong state but picked a lot less, it gives you such an advantage. The enemy won't understand the limits to your champion, and you'll end up with so many free kills due to them underestimating you. Since we're on the topic of underrated champions, which one do you guys think is flying under the radar the most? Be sure to let us know in the comments below. Smash that subscribe button while you're down there as well so you don't miss out on any of the great content we have planned. And with that said, let's jump into it. A new strategy for Gwen top has started to become a lot more popular among pro players in the past patch, which consists of running Ignite instead of Flash. Teleport and Ignite is the summoner spell combo, and it gives Gwen so much control of the lane early on. E-Start allows Gwen to trade very aggressively and win out on extended fights very well. If you can chunk the enemy laner out at level 1 and hit level 2 before them, you can strike for the all-in with Ignite. The extended dueling power of Gwen is really great because of the short cooldowns on Q and E. If the enemy ever overextends too far, it's so easy to punish while running that Ignite. We'll see this Ignite teleport strat way more on top laners in solo queue, as it's so much more important to get a lead in lane as a top laner to have an impact on the game. Going even in top lane just isn't enough most of the time because you don't have the ability to impact the rest of the map as well as mid and support players do. Build-wise on Gwen, rush a Riftmaker into Nashor's and Cosmic Drive. Divine Sunderer Rush can also work very well and is highly undervalued, especially against health stacking comps. Take Conqueror as the keystone with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Resolve is taken for secondaries with Bone Plating and Revitalize. Next up is a really interesting setup popping off this patch for Zac top lane, consisting of a Chem Tank Rush into Rylai's second. The build has been played a ton over in Korea and works extremely well for a few different reasons. First off, Zac saw a buff to his W base damage and AP ratio in 11.8. These changes are huge for Zac top in general, as W can be spammed in lane for harass and is a big factor while dueling. Zac top players max W out first, so that 10 extra damage at max rank buff was really big. The AP ratio buff on W means building an offensive item like Rylai's is so much more worth it. The sticking power from Chem Tank and Rylai's combination is super insane, and the damage potential is really high too. Rylai's and Chem Tank both provide Zac with a good chunk of extra health, which synergizes with his kit very nicely. The full build is Chem Tank Rush into Rylai's second and Thorn Mail or Spirit Visage third. Grasp or Conqueror can work for the keystone, so switch it around based on the matchup. General rule of thumb is to run Grasp against melee top laners or in matchups where you can proc it consistently, and take Conqueror in ranged matchups. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out our hyper improvement system at SkillCapped.com. We have professional courses by the top players, Smurf commentaries where a challenger player walks you through how to climb out of every rank from Iron to Diamond, and we upload tons of new exclusive guides to our website each week. In fact, we're so confident you'll improve using our system that if you don't climb at least 5 divisions while actively using SkillCapped, you can claim a full refund, so there's no risk. What are you waiting for? Check out SkillCapped.com and get the rank you've always wanted. Link in the description below. The Shy has been playing Quinn top in 11.9 with an Immortal Shield Bow Rush, as the setup works so well against all Bruiser top laners. The sustain from Shield Bow allows you to trade very aggressively around your cooldowns. After each trade, you heal back up to full with the lifesteal and posture for the all-in. It's already insanely difficult for the enemy to stick onto Quinn due to her strong kiting power, and the shield proc from Shield Bow makes it almost impossible to take her down. The Shield Bow turns Quinn into a pseudo-tank and lets her get up into fights without worrying about being blown up immediately. If you take Ninja Tabbies as your boost, it adds to your durability even more. The damage really isn't lacking in the slightest though, as you'll transition into a Stormrazor second, which helps you kite out and find picks even better due to the passive slow. Round the build out with Infinity Edge third. The rune page will be press the attack with Overheal, Bloodline, and Coup de Grace, which adds to your sustain even further. Run Sorcery secondary with Nimbus Cloak and Absolute Focus. We all know how broken Diana and Morgana ended up after their jungle buffs. One champion who's very strong as well that's not getting enough attention is Mordekaiser. More specifically, Nashor's Tooth Rush Mord Jungle is great for 11.9. The Nashor's Tooth allows Mord to clear his jungle very fast and also provides great skirmish power. Mordekaiser's passive provides his auto attack with extra on-hit damage, so when you combine that with the attack speed and bonus on-hit damage from Nashor's, you're such a great consistent threat. Thanks to the buffs in 11.8, Mord Jungle's clear is so much stronger as he has the ability to melt raptors and wolves with all the AoE damage. Mord is also relatively simple to play and easy to pick up, so he's a champion we would highly recommend for the lower elos. The only matchup you really got to worry about in the meta is Morgana, which is the case for most champs, so just ban her out every game. Full build is Nashor's Tooth Rush into Riftmaker 2nd and Zhonya's 3rd. For runes, you'll take Conqueror with Triumph, Alacrity, and Last Stand. Grab Domination for secondary, running Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter. Trundle Jungle is back in business for 11.9 as the buff to his E has helped him tremendously along with a new carry-oriented build. Many Trundle players opt for the tank route and rush a Frostfire Gauntlet, but the build seeing the most success in solo queue is a Stridebreaker Rush. Trundle's another one of those fighters who lacks a gap closer, so Stridebreaker fits in perfectly. The extra slow added onto his E this patch, combined with the dash from Stridebreaker and speed boost from W, give Trundle the best sticking power he's ever had. It's now extremely difficult to keep Trundle away from his targets this patch, which is showing up in the analytics, as he's one of the top win rate junglers at 52%. With Hecarim nerfed, we won't be seeing him as much, but Trundle can be used to great success in that matchup, especially due to the E slow buff. The less move speed Hecarim has, the less damage he deals, so Trundle becomes much stronger against Heck. Against auto-attack reliant junglers, Trundle can feast as his Q steals the enemy's attack damage. This makes him a great pick into champs like Master Yi, Xin Zhao, Olaf, and Graves. A sample full build will look like a Stridebreaker into Titanic Hydra and then Spirit Visage 3rd. Roll with Press the Attack as the keystone, followed by Triumph, Alacrity, and Coup de Grace. Secondary runes are Nimbus Cloak and Water Walking from the Sorcery Tree. Despite Riot's efforts to bring down the fire-spitting Yordle, they've failed pretty hard, as Rumble remains the most underrated mid for patch 11.9. What makes Rumble Mid so strong is his ability to annihilate the squishy champions who are played in the role. Many top lane champions will rush Merc Treads or build health, which limits Rumble's ability to pressure for kills. In mid lane, champions like Sylas, Zed, Katarina, Yone, and Yasuo are all amazing for Rumble. None of them tend to build defensively, while all of them are melee and relatively squishy. Couple this with the fact that they're all played at extremely high rates, and you can see why Rumble Mid will bless you with loads of free wins. The buff to Rumble's passive providing him with extra attack speed really just pushed things to a whole nother level and makes Rumble's early all-in so disgusting. Once you finish smacking the enemy laner around, the push power is the best for any mid, as one Q will instantly wipe out the wave. This lets you scout out roam opportunities very often, and thanks to the long range from Rumble ult, the success rate on these roam plays are second to none. Rune-wise, you'll take Electrocute, and you may not believe it till you see it, but the Burst is the best for any melee mid early on. Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ultimate Hunter are the other 3 runes in domination. Run Sorcery for secondary with Nimbus Cloak and Scorch. As for the build, pick up a Night Harvester first, Zhonya's 2nd, and Void Staff 3rd. Another OP off-meta mid laner you can abuse to dismantle the annoying meta picks is Tryndamere. Similar to Rumble, Trynd actually sees better results as a mid laner in 11.9 due to the fact he can thrive so much more against squishy mids. Trynd top is no fun at all when the enemy just counterpicks with tank Malphite, but you don't have to worry about that at all in the mid lane. The mobility from E and burst potential from passive crits gives Trynd very sneaky all-in strength, which most players will not respect. If you're playing into someone like Yone or Katarina and you can get the level 2 jump, then you're guaranteed to burn their flash if they don't back off right away. That's the worst case scenario though, as most times you'll be picking up first blood. If you can generate an early lead with Trynd, he can be the most oppressive mid laner in the entire game. At level 6, it's effortless to dive enemy squishies under tower with ult available. Trynd may not have the craziest roaming power, but his ability to run away with a lane and force the enemy to AFK is quite insane. Most top lane Trynd players like to rush Kraken Slayer, but for mid Trynd, you'll be rushing a Gale Force. With Ignite, Ultimate available, and Gale Force active ready, the only real way to lose out on a 1v1 is if your monitor randomly turns off in the midst of a fight. After Gale Force, go into Phantom Dancer 2nd and Navori Quick Blades 3rd. Rune Page is lethal tempo with Triumph, Tenacity, and Last Stand, paired up with Resolve secondary, running Second Wind, and Unflinching. We've come to know Lethality Varus pretty well over the past couple patches, but Crit Varus is just as strong and very undervalued. You should really be looking to adapt to the game and build what works best based on the enemy composition. Crit Varus works wonders when up against comps with a heavy front line. Say for example, the enemy team has a Udyr jungle and Shen top. Building lethality is very weak in that scenario, as both Shen and Udyr will stack armor, which limits lethality a ton. Vice versa though, if you're playing against something like a Gwen top and Morgana jungle, building lethality gives you way more value. Consistent DPS is very key when against tankier comps, as they'll be able to soak up your burst quite easily. The build you should run when playing Crit Varus is Kraken Slayer into Phantom Dancer and Infinity Edge third. The burst potential is actually not even that bad with Crit either, as Kraken Slayer with Hail of Blades proc can pack a massive punch. Follow up the Hail of Blades with Taste of Blood, Eyeball Collector, and Ravenous Hunter. Inspiration is best for secondaries, running Biscuits and Cosmic Insight. Way too many solo queue Alistar players are sleeping on a Shurelya's Rush for 11.9. We've already gone into detail in previous videos as to how broken Shurelya's is on enchanters, but Alistar is secretly really great with it too. Most ally players opt for Chem Tank at the moment, but the main issue with the active is that you're the only one who receives the move speed boost. This really limits your team's ability to follow up on engages, as you'll end up light years ahead of them, which is no good. Shurelya's active is so much better because it provides you and your teammates 60% move speed over 4 seconds. With the whole squad zooming in on the target, your ability to capitalize on those pick plays increases tenfold. Remember as well that the active move speed from Chem Tank was just nerfed here in 11.9, so the item becomes even weaker while Shurelya's was just buffed. You'll be lacking a little bit in regards to tankiness, since Shurelya's offers no armor or magic resist, but the all-in power and pick potential of Shurelya's is worth the trade-off. To back it up even further, Alistars who build Shurelya's win 57% of the time as opposed to Chem Tank at 54 and Locket at 54 as well. Second item will be a Zeke's Convergence, and then round the core build out with a Knight's Vow. Take Phase Rush as the keystone with Nimbus Cloak, Celerity, and Water Walking. Inspiration secondary with Hex Flash and Cosmic Insight work the best. And to round everything out, one more engaged support you need to be building Shurelya's on is Gragas. When building the more standard Locket, Gragas heavily relies around having flash available to execute pick plays. Shurelya's opens things up so much more and lets Gragas make game-changing plays without the reliance of flash. 60% move speed over 4 seconds is actually pretty insane when you think about it, and you'll catch the enemy off guard time and time again. The active cooldown is also only 75 seconds, so you'll have so many windows of opportunity to look for picks. It's not just finding those great engages that makes the item so strong though, as the active can also be used as an extremely effective disengage tool. Gragas has some of the best peel power with his ultimate, but when you combo that with Shurelya's move speed, it's nearly impossible for enemies to reach your carries. After completing Shurelya's, build a Zeke's Convergence second and Zhonya's third. Run Comet as the keystone with Mana Flow Band, Transcendence, and Scorch. The extra damage from the Comet combined with the AP from Shurelya's turns Gragas support into a legitimate damage force. Biscuits and Cosmic Insight are the go-to secondary runes. And remember, if you want to improve fast and get the rank you've always wanted, then check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. To stay up to date with all the content we're cooking up for you guys, don't forget to subscribe, and with that said, thanks so much for watching everyone, we'll see you back soon.